Good morning, traders. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Tuesday, November 4th. Let's take a look at this morning's action. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down 1.02%. It's really a sea of red out there. There's a weakness in the pre-market, really due, to no one specific headline, but it's really the valuation of tech stocks that's really in focus. You see a lot of concerns about these valuations as of late, and now they're starting to hit. We did get a lot of commentary yesterday from Fed officials, where the Fed officials are really, cutting the expectations about a rate cut in December. They're really following Chairman Powell's lead, as he indicated, last month that a December rate cut is not a foregone conclusion. Fed Governor Michelle Baumann is out there this morning. She says she's concerned more with employment and rising inflation. I don't know if that's true. The White House has scheduled a briefing today at 1 p.m. There could be something there. OpenAI signs a deal with AWS, Amazon. Microsoft doesn't like that, I'm sure. Tesla's got that shareholders meeting coming up on Thursday. They're expected to announce the vote of Musk's $1 trillion pay package. That's not going to be positive. I'm a little concerned there. We're talking earnings. We got EXAS, Spot, Spotify, Clorox, CLX, HIMS, HIMS, and RACE, RACE. They're all trading higher after their earnings results. ADM, NCLH, PLTR, and ETN, they're all lower after their earnings releases. But after the bell today, you got AMD, you got Amgen, you got ANET, you get LYV, and QGEN. And then tomorrow morning, you got Novo Nordisk, NVO, you got McDonald's, you got Johnson Controls, JCI, and Humana, HUM. They're all scheduled to report. So those are some things to watch. Now we're taking a look overseas, and let's start off with Europe, see what's going on in Europe. You look at the DAX, it's down 1.27% or 306 points. All sectors are virtually in the red. You look at the FTSE, down 49 points or 0.51%. Mining stocks are really leading that downturn, and the CAC is down, 1.25%. Not good. The luxury stocks are lower. Tech stocks are lower. They got a lot of stuff in the green, stuff in the red this morning in France. Looking over at Asia last night, Asia was also a sea of red. You get the Nikkei down 914 points. That's 1.74%. Tech shares led the weakening in tech shares led that downturn. Then get the Hang Seng, which was down 205 points or 0.79% with declines in tech, consumer, and property stocks. China, on the other hand, it was down 0.41%. Tech and clean energy stocks did underperform. In terms of oil this morning, we are seeing some weakening in oil this morning. WTI is at $60.32 a barrel, down 1.20%. Brent is at $64.21 a barrel, down 1.02%. What do we have to say here? Number one, we get the API, the American Petroleum Institute, the stockpile estimates. They're coming out today after the bell. There's this belief of a pending supply surplus going on right now. You got weakness in the equity markets, the global equity markets, and you combine those two, and it's really creating a bearish sentiment, for oil this morning. Then there are news reports that indicate a large drop of Russian oil is being sent to India due to the sanctions on those two big oil companies. While the low cost of Russian crude has really been a benefit to India over the last couple of years, it's to a point where if they're going to get hit with tariffs, it's not really worth buying unless Russian oil really discounts their price. And I don't see that happening because oil is a global commodity. After all, you're going to be able to sell it, but I don't think it's worth dropping the price 15-30% for Russia. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning update report. In terms of earnings, action this morning, we got to start off with Palantir. They beat by 4 cents. They did it on higher revenue. It wasn't a bad report. It really wasn't. But, you look at the stock this morning, and Palantir is trading lower. PLTR is off by, 7.20% this morning. Then you got Uber, UBER, Uncle Boy, Edward Richard. They beat by 51 cents. They did it on higher revenue, but the stock's trading lower by, about a little over 1%. I'd say it's pretty widespread. So, I see it as low as, trading at $95, which would be down 4.73%. Not good. Then there's Marriott, ticker MAR. That's another one that recently released earnings. Now, they beat by 8 cents. They did it on higher revenue. That stock's down 0.33%. Upcoming, after the bell today, you got Amgen, AMGN, Apple, Michael Grace, Dancy. Their EPS is $5. Expected move is 4.46%. You got Arista Networks. It's ANET, Apple, Nancy, Edward, Tom. Their EPS is 72 cents. Expected move is 10.5%. And then the big one, AMD, Applied Micro Devices. Their EPS is $1.17. Expected move is 8% when they release this afternoon, Emily. Okay, now we're looking over at the economic reports happening today. It's kind of void. You get the API oil stockpiles report coming out at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, but it's really about like some Fed speak. I mean, the recent Fed speak really just shows the divide between, the Trump-nominated governors, which would be Waller, Moran, and Bowman, who are all pointing to rising labor unemployment as their reasoning for wanting to continue to lower rates, against the rest of the group, which is really saying, hey, inflation is continuing to tick higher. We haven't, we're 3%. We were at 2.7. Now we're at 3, and unemployment really is still at historical norms. So it's not that concerning, but they want to keep lowering interest rates, the group of 3, and everyone else is saying no. So you see this big divide. It's only going to get louder. Then we're moving over to, what's happening in the markets. I'm looking at the Dow stocks. I got 8 Dow stocks higher, 22 lower. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. Everything's trading in the red. Looking at something like Apple, which is trading, Apple is trading, slightly lower by 0.74% this morning. But their iPhone sales are exceeding expectations in China. Then there's Amazon, ticker AMZN, which is down 1.69% this morning. Cognizant adopts Anthropic's Claude to accelerate their enterprise AI adoption. That's positive. And then there's Tesla, which is down 2.53%. I mean, Tesla's Chinese car sales fell 9% year over year in October. Not good. Dow Jones 30 stocks, we've got to talk about Merck, ticker MRK, which is trading higher this morning. They secure $700 million from Blackstone to advance a promising cancer drug. Apple, their App Store revenue was up 8% in October, according to UBS. Apple is, still down 0.74%. OpenAI, they signed a $38 billion deal with Amazon's web services. You look at Amazon, it is trading lower by 1.69%, while Microsoft is lower by 0.86%. In terms of merger news, Yum Brands, they're exploring the sale of Pizza Hut, the Pizza Hut chain. Starbucks sold its control of its China business to a private equity group, SBUX. In terms of guidance news, Qorvo, ticker QRVO, they see Q3 EPS coming in at $1.83 plus or minus $50 million. Street estimates is $1.88. Not great, but okay. Palantir sees Q4 revenue coming in $1.327 billion to $1.33.1 billion. Street estimates $1.18. That's a big uptick. PLTR, big uptick in guidance. In terms of shareholder announcements going on, let's talk Caterpillar, ticker CAT, big cat. They're having an analyst day today, which is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. You look at the stock, it's down 1.64% this morning, but there could be some news out there that could cause a turnaround here. Keep an eye on shares of Caterpillar, CAT. In terms of buyback news, Hog, Harley Davidson, they authorized a $200 million accelerated share repurchasing agreement. That's what I see about news hitting the tape this morning. Let's move on to the stock of the day. I'm going with Johnson Controls. That's ticker JCI, John, Charlie, India. Listen, earnings are due out tomorrow morning. Now, the EPS here is $1.20, and the expected move is 8%. The call volume yesterday, 5,392 calls traded to 215 puts. Open interest is 78K to 35K. Very positive. And the major brokers, they're raising price targets above where the stock's trading at, which is really nice to see. A lot of times you see them raising price targets, but it's below where the current price valuation of the stock price. But in this case, they're well above. So I do like Johnson Controls. And the broker comments look very positive. But I got to take into account, the weakness that's happening this morning in the S&Ps. When the market hits, it's going to, everything's going to get hit a little bit. You're going to see weakness across the board. So with the stock trading at, 111, I want to get in 110.50. That's kind of my entry price. I'll willing to pay up to 111, but somewhere between 110.50 and 111 is really what I'm looking for. And it kind of depends on how it's trading at the moment near the opening. But that's my stock of the day. Johnson Controls, ticker JCI, John Charlie India. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what news is hitting this morning in hot off the press segment. All right, let's see. Dick Cheney, former VP, he passed away. He was 84. Uber CEO, strongest growth since the end of 2023. Let's see what else we got. Goldman, Morgan Stanley CEOs warn of equity markets headed for a correction. U.S. government shutdown ties a record. Tomorrow, after midnight, it'll beat the record unless something happens. But it seems like this shutdown is going to continue. The Republicans and Democrats in Congress continue to blame each other for the standoff. I don't see this changing anytime shortly. Norway, their wealth fund voted against Musk's $1 trillion Tesla pay package. Denny's, the restaurant chain, they're going to be acquired by a group of TGI Fridays owners for $620 million. Okay. Microsoft plans to bring its total investments in the UAE to $15 billion by the end of 2029. Pfizer filed a second lawsuit against Novo Nordisk, structuring of a $9 billion bid for Metsera to stall its entry of the biotech's firm in treatment in obesity. Yeah, that's an issue. There's a ton of earnings hitting the tape this morning and tomorrow and this afternoon and tomorrow morning to keep an eye on. All right, that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape in the last 15, 20 minutes. Let's talk about Williams Brothers, ticker WMB, which was my pick of the day. I mean, listen, with the pick of the day, we looked to find a stock that's going to at least make 1% off of either our entry price or the opening price. And you look at WMB yesterday, the Williams company. Hey, the stock opened up at 58.23 and it fell down to 57.30 before recovering. We were looking at around 58 as an entry price, but after it recovered, it actually hit 59.26, which beats the 1%, and either from the opening price or from my target entry price. So WMB was a winner yesterday. William Michael Boy, very happy, very happy. But that concludes Trade Talk for Tuesday, November 4th. Guys, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.